All right, let's get right to it. You've served your country, you've put it all on the line, and now you're facing something called a compensation and pension exam, or a C&P exam. This can be a nerve-wracking experience, especially when it's for something as personal as depression and anxiety. But let's be clear about what this is and what it isn't. This exam is not about judging you. It's not about deciding if you're a good person. It's a tool the VA uses to understand how your service-connected mental health conditions affect your life. It's a necessary step to get the benefits you've earned and absolutely deserve. So, let's stop treating this like some mystery and start treating it like a problem we can solve together. Think of this exam as a fact-finding mission. The VA is sending an examiner, who could be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, to gather information. Their one and only job is to document how your depression and anxiety impact your ability to function every single day. They need to put what you're going through into a language the VA understands. This is your opportunity, maybe your only opportunity, to have a professional hear your story and translate it into the official record. You have to be an active participant in your own rescue. You can't just show up and hope for the best. You have to prepare. You have to be ready to tell your truth. And you have to do it with clarity and honesty. It's completely normal to feel anxious about this appointment. You're about to talk to a stranger about your deepest struggles, your worst days, and the thoughts that keep you up at night. That's not easy for anyone, but I want you to reframe that anxiety. Instead of seeing it as a roadblock, see it as fuel. Let it remind you how important this is. This exam is a critical piece of the puzzle. The report this examiner writes will have a huge impact on whether you get the benefits that can help you pay your bills, support your family, and get the stability you need to move forward. You've faced bigger challenges. You can do this. So let's make a deal. We're going to put aside the fear and the uncertainty. We're going to replace it with preparation and a solid game plan. You wouldn't go into a battle without a strategy, and this is no different. This is a battle for your well-being, for your future. The goal here is simple: to walk into that exam room, communicate your reality effectively, and walk out knowing you did everything you could to get a fair and accurate assessment. You are the world's foremost expert on you, and it's time to let the VA know what you know. Let's get to work. When you go to your C&P exam, you'll meet with an examiner who will ask you a lot of questions. This isn't going to be a therapy session. They're not there to fix your problems or offer you long-term treatment. Their role is to be an investigator for the VA. The meeting will likely feel like an interview, and it can be very direct and to the point. The examiner will probably have your military records and your VA claims file in front of them. They will ask you about your life before, during, and after your military service. They're trying to build a timeline and connect your current symptoms to your time in service. The questions can get very personal. They will ask about your moods, your sleep patterns, your energy levels, and your relationships. They might ask if you have thoughts of harming yourself or others. I know this is tough, but you have to answer honestly. The examiner will be observing everything about you, not just what you say, but how you say it. They'll note your appearance, your body language, your mood, and how well you can focus and follow the conversation. They are looking for signs of the symptoms you've claimed. This is their job, so don't be put off by it. Just focus on being yourself and telling your story. You'll likely be asked to fill out a questionnaire, something called a DBQ, or Disability Benefits Questionnaire. This form lists specific symptoms related to depression and anxiety. The examiner will go through these symptoms with you, asking how often you experience them and how severe they are. For example, they'll ask about things like depressed mood, panic attacks, chronic sleep impairment, memory loss, and difficulty in social situations. They are checking boxes that correspond to different levels of impairment. It might feel cold and clinical because it is. Remember the purpose: it's about documentation, not connection. Don't expect the examiner to be warm and friendly. Some are, but many are professional and detached. Their goal is to remain objective. They are not your advocate, and they are not your friend. They are a neutral party writing a report. The exam can last anywhere from 20 minutes to over an hour, depending on the complexity of your case. Your only job in that room is to provide clear, honest, and detailed information about how your conditions affect you. Don't worry about their reaction. Just focus on your truth. Your story is the most important piece of evidence in that room. Now let's pull back the curtain on how the VA rates mental health conditions. It's not some secret code. It's a system based on how much your symptoms interfere with your life, specifically your ability to work and function socially. The ratings are given in percentages: 0%, 10%, 30%, 50%, 70%, or 100%. A 0% rating means you have a diagnosis, but the symptoms are not severe enough to impact your life. It's important because it acknowledges a service-connected condition, and you can file for an increase later if things get worse. It's a foot in the door, so don't dismiss it. A 10% or 30% rating usually means your symptoms are mild to moderate. At 10%, your symptoms might flare up during times of stress, but are generally managed with medication. At 30%, you're looking at more persistent problems. Maybe you have occasional trouble sleeping, you're often irritable, or you have some difficulty at work and in your social life. You're functioning, but it's a struggle. You might have anxiety, some panic attacks that aren't too frequent, or a depressed mood that comes and goes. The key here is that the impairment is noticeable, but not completely debilitating. You're getting by, but just barely. Things get more serious at the 50% and 70% levels. A 50% rating points to significant impairment. We're talking about flattened affect, which means you show little emotion. You might have trouble making and keeping friends. Your speech might be rambling or vague. You could have panic attacks more than once a week, difficulty understanding complex instructions, or trouble maintaining a job. At 70%, the impairment is severe. Your work life, family life, and social life are all deeply affected. This could include suicidal thoughts, near-continuous panic or depression, and an inability to manage stress at all. You might neglect your hygiene and have trouble leaving your house. A 100% rating is for total occupational and social impairment. This is the highest level and reflects a complete inability to function. At this stage, a veteran might be a danger to themselves or others. They may be persistently disoriented, have significant memory loss, or be unable to perform basic daily activities like bathing or eating. They may require constant supervision. Understanding these levels is power. It helps you connect your own experiences to the VA's framework. You can see how telling the examiner you have trouble at work fits into this bigger picture. It gives you the language to describe your reality in a way the VA will understand. Let's have a straight talk about honesty. When you're sitting in that exam room, you might be tempted to do one of two things. Either downplay your symptoms because you're used to being tough, or exaggerate them because you're scared they won't believe you. I'm telling you right now, both of those are losing strategies. The single most important thing you can do in your C&P exam is to be brutally honest. Don't put on a brave face. This is not the time to suck it up. The examiner needs to see the real you, the you that struggles on your worst days, not the you that you present to the world when you're trying to hold it all together. Minimizing your symptoms is a trap many veterans fall into. You've been trained to be strong, to push through pain, and to never show weakness. That serves you well on the battlefield, but it will kill your VA claim. If you tell the examiner I'm doing okay, or it's not that bad, that is exactly what they will write in their report. You must be willing to be vulnerable and talk about how bad it really gets. If you spend entire weekends in bed because you don't have the energy to move, you need to say that. If you avoid family gatherings because your anxiety is overwhelming, you need to say that. They can't read your mind. On the flip side, you can't go in there and make things up. Don't ever exaggerate your symptoms. These examiners are trained professionals. They've conducted hundreds, maybe thousands of these exams. They know the signs of depression and anxiety, and they can often tell when someone is not being genuine. If they suspect you are malingering or faking your symptoms, they will note it in your file, and that will destroy your credibility and your claim. It's a risk you cannot afford to take. Your real-life struggles are enough. You don't need to add anything to them. The truth has a power that exaggeration will never have. Your guiding star should be your worst day. When the examiner asks how you're doing, don't describe how you feel on a good day. We all have good days. The VA needs to know about the days you can't get out of bed, the days the panic attacks hit, the days you feel completely hopeless. Talk about your average day, but make sure you also describe your worst days. Tell them how often those bad days happen. Is it once a month? Once a week? Most days? This gives them a realistic picture of your life. Honesty is not just the best policy. In this situation, it is the only policy. It's not enough to just say, I have depression. That's a label. It doesn't tell the examiner anything about your life. You have to paint a picture with your words. You need to give them concrete, real-world examples of how your symptoms affect you. Instead of saying, I have trouble concentrating, tell them a story. Say, I was trying to pay my bills online the other day and I had to read the same sentence 10 times. I kept losing my place and getting so frustrated that I just gave up. Now my electricity is about to be shut off. See the difference? One is a statement, the other is a story that shows impact. Let's talk about work. Don't just say, my anxiety makes work difficult. Explain how. Give them specifics. My boss gave me a new project last week, and I was so overwhelmed with anxiety that I couldn't even start. I just stared at my computer screen for hours. I've been calling in sick a lot because some mornings, the thought of facing my coworkers makes my heart pound so hard I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. Or, I got written up last month for snapping at a customer. I know I shouldn't have, but my fuse is so short these days. I feel irritable all the time and I can't control it. These examples show, not just tell. Now let's apply this to your social life and daily routines. Instead of I'm withdrawn, try this. My friends used to invite me out all the time, but I've said no so many times that they've stopped asking. I want to go, but the idea of being in a crowded place is terrifying, so I just stay home and watch TV. Instead of I have memory problems, say, my wife gets so frustrated with me because I can't remember to take out the trash or pick up milk from the store. She has to leave sticky notes all over the house for me, and even then, I sometimes forget. These details are what the examiner needs to document. Before your exam, take some time to think about these things. Maybe even write them down. Make a list of specific examples related to your work, your relationships with your spouse and kids, your friendships, your hobbies, and even your personal hygiene. How has your depression or anxiety changed these parts of your life? Did you used to love fishing, but now you can't find the energy to even get your gear ready? Tell them that. The more vivid and detailed your examples are, the clearer the picture of your impairment will be. You are giving the examiner the ammunition they need to write a report that accurately reflects your reality. Let's get one thing straight. You are in control of that exam room. It might not feel like it, but you are. This is your story, and you have the right to tell it your way. If the examiner is rushing you, you have the right to say, I need a moment to think about that. This is difficult for me to talk about. If you start to feel overwhelmed or have a panic attack, you have the right to ask for a break. Just say, I need to step out for a minute. A reasonable examiner will understand. This is about your health, and you need to protect it, even during the exam. You are your own best advocate. No one knows what you're going through better than you do. While the examiner is a professional, they are also human, and sometimes they get it wrong. If an examiner is rude, dismissive, or unprofessional, you need to report it. If they cut your exam short after only 10 minutes or don't let you talk about your symptoms, you need to report it. After the exam, write down everything that happened, who you spoke to, and what was said. If you feel the exam was inadequate, you can contact the VA and file a complaint. Don't ever feel like you have to accept poor treatment. You've earned better. Remember, this exam is a snapshot in time. The examiner only sees you for an hour or less. They don't see you late at night when you can't sleep. They don't see you when you're struggling to get through a simple family dinner. That's why your words are so powerful. You have to be the one to fill in the gaps and show them the full movie of your life, not just the single frame they see in that office. You fought for your country. Now you have to fight for yourself. Speak up, be clear, be honest, be you. Finally, I want you to walk out of that exam with your head held high no matter how it went. You did something difficult. You faced your struggles head on, and you told your truth. That takes courage. This process can be long and frustrating, but don't give up. You are not a number. You are a veteran who served with honor, and you deserve to be taken care of. You have a right to these benefits. They are not a handout. They are a debt that is owed to you. I wish you the very best of luck. You've got this. Now go get what you've earned.